At one point,
they were hiding him from me the whole time.
The wife looks at me and is like, yo, this J Huff fella's kind of good. It's like, hell yeah, he is.
Jessica's been trying to tell me. My God.
Did you listen to a song?
No, I've been talking to you for the last.
I didn't know you had, at some point, Jessica, you got up and washed your ass. I didn't know if you like listen to music while you take a shower.
No, that's a little hard. But here, I just pressed shuffle. Let's see what pops up.
What pops up? Oh.
Worth It by Fifth Harmony.
Oh. I like that song. I miss Fifth Harmony.
Tell me I'm worth it.
We were talking about SNL earlier. One of my favorite SNL skits of all time is a song. Chris Redd, I think Keenan's in it, Pete Davidson is in it, and they talk about rap songs with the weird little flute in the background. And Worth It absolutely has a weird flute in the background.
I think it does. I think this version of Worth It is actually in Spanish, so that's special.
Why do you have the Spanish version of Worth It on your phone?
It's a really great question. It's called Worth It, Dame Esta Noche.
Yeah, you gotta delete that. You don't sing in Spanish, do you?
No, but I could. What if I did someday? I could.
Okay.
You
gonna take Spanish lessons?
No, Chris does Duolingo Spanish every night as I go to sleep. That's enough for me.
Wait, what
I'm learning it by osmosis.
How does this man have time for Civ 6 and Duolingo Spanish at night?
Because he's so committed to his Duolingo streak, he refuses to let it die. That's called commitment. If your husband can't commit to Duolingo, how can he commit to you?
Oh, well.
Ask yourself that.
There's a lot of dudes, me included, who can't commit to Duolingo, so I guess I'm just not going to be committed.
Red flag.
That's one of many red flags. I'm a giant walking red flag. Call me like what's the one who's fighting bulls? Matador.
You are the Matador. What's up, everybody? It is Monday, November 4th. It's going to be a good day. Jessica Benson, not in the Grind City Media Studio. I'm in the lovely Pacific Northwest this morning, but CJ Hurt is back in Memphis behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, the Grizzlies got a big win over the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid didn't play, but did make headlines after the loss. We'll get into all of that. A busy weekend of football. I was at the sad USC UW game, but it was probably sadder for the Memphis Tigers. We'll get into the highs and lows from college football, the NFL. Gary Parrish will join us about 40 minutes in. The college basketball season tips off today. Memphis Tigers taking on Missouri at FedEx. And then Meghan Triplett is going to join us. The Grizzlies take on the Nets tonight in Brooklyn, looking for revenge from their loss to the Nets last week. We'll catch up with Meghan in the last segment. It's a Monday. It's a good day. You know what we say.
Heart stars, horseshoes, clovers and blue moons, pots of gold and rainbows, and
a red balloon.
There we go. Let's get it.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
At Southland Casino Hotel, it's time to work hard, play hard with our $500,000 giveaway. Earn entries October through November 9th and take home free play and amazing prizes on select Saturdays, including a big rig. Stay connected on social media for weekly drawing clues. Join us November 9th for the grand finale drawing where you could drive off in a four-wheeler, side-by-side, or big rig. Work hard and play harder at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
John Cena was spilling life lessons on this stream, bro. So the best thing I watched all week, John Cena on the Cassinet stream. By the way, he stole your hairdo. You got to make a phone call.
I was about to say, you showed me a little bit of this clip because I saw the messy room, and the only thing I could see is John Cena's hair. I mean, come on, bro.
He stole your bar.
It's
he stole
literally identical.
He stole your flow, bar for bar, word for word.
How is mine more gray than his, though?
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out. Let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, to have it my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday to you. We have so much to get into today. Big Grizzlies win over the weekend. Another Grizzlies game tonight. Memphis Tigers basketball season starts tonight. Bad Memphis Tigers football loss over the weekend. And we're all just trying to survive a daylight saving time. CJ, how was your daylight saving time?
It was good. It was good. I woke up at 2, felt like it was 6, and then I went to sleep at like 5, felt like it was 8. The sun had already started going down. It was good stuff. It was real good.
I am on the Pacific time zone. I'm in Tacoma, Washington. I fly back to Memphis after the show this morning. But the sun was setting at like 4:45 here yesterday. And because I'm still mentally on Central time zone, it felt like midnight. I think I went to bed at 8:30. I woke up at 2:30. So we're doing really well. It's currently 6:08 a.m. here in Washington. But obviously, we have a ton to get to as it pertains to the Grizzlies and the Tigers and more. Oh my. But I was here in Washington for the historic Big Ten rivalry game between USC and UW. And I did want to share just a little lesson that was learned over the weekend. We're all sports fans here. And I think sports parables are important in our lives, CJ. One, you talk about Big Ten weather. It was pouring down rain here in the Pacific Northwest. So we know weather from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten, but it was nice to experience it. And I got to see my beautiful USC Trojans fall to 4-5. But I have a confession to make.
What is it?
We left at half.
What?
We left at half, which is crazy because you know me. I am committed. I do not leave things early. I am of the belief that if you have a ticket to an event, you are fortunate enough to be able to go to an event, you never leave. So I have to explain because USC was down 20-7 at halftime. And as mentioned, pouring. Like not a light sprinkle, not a dusting of rain. A torrential downpour started hitting that stadium with about 5 minutes left in the first half. And at that point, USC had run the ball 8 times, and I was screaming at Lincoln Riley, and we were sitting next to the drunkest a-holes at the party, who truly, sitting next to really, really horrific fans, it can do a number on you. We had a 40-minute walk to our car. My car had an hour-plus drive home, and we were just like, we're done. It had been a wonderful day. Like, we had all gone out.
Wait. You said the drunk fans? What were the drunk fans doing?
Oh, they were saying just horrific things. I can't even say the things that they were saying.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they wouldn't stop, and they were so loud, and they couldn't stand up properly. They probably left at half too, so we could have had a nice thing. But I thought I was going to learn a different lesson, or I thought I was going to enforce a different lesson of like, this is why you never leave a game early, because we're all walking back to the cars. And like, again, we were very at peace with the decision. We had run into some other friends from USC, which was so fun, just like random run-ins with people you went to school with. Like nothing compares to that. Like hearing your name be called across a parking lot and then registering that this is someone that you knew in your, early stages of adulthood is a very fun thing. We had gone to the University of Washington has this great thing called University Village, which is a cute little like outdoor mall. It's been wonderful. And then we're walking back to the car, and suddenly Lincoln Riley decided to run the damn ball, and Woody Marks is going crazy in the second half. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to miss a USC comeback. Like, we're going to miss USC coming back and winning this game.
They take the lead, 21-20.
And the rain is stopping, and we get to the car, and we're driving home, and I'm in my brain, I'm envisioning like a Zachariah Branch 90-yard punt return for a game-winning touchdown at the end or something. And then USC comes up short on an 8-minute drive that stops at the 1-yard line. And then they're gifted the ball back. And they still can't do anything with it. And so I reminded myself, you know your team better than anyone. And I knew my team was going to lose that game when I was sitting in the pouring rain down 20-7 at half, no matter how much they flirted with a comeback. And thus, I was validated in my decision to lead us home, and we all made it back in time to watch SNL and the beginning of SNL, which was a very fun thing to all watch together. And USC lost, and I didn't have to be there to experience it drenched and cold and extra miserable. I just missed my exit as they didn't get a game-winning touchdown in the final drive. Literally missed my exit home because I was so angry at Lincoln Riley and my USC Trojans. But this is my lesson. I am not going to travel for a USC game for the foreseeable future.
Really? You got to travel for a USC game.
No, I travel for the people. I travel for the camaraderie. I travel, in this case, I got to see my mom, which was excellent, and stay with my mom. But other than that, I am not giving this team my emotions anymore until next week when they play Nebraska.
Is USC going to be bowl eligible when it's all said and done?
No, they need 2 more wins, and they play Nebraska, UCLA, and Notre Dame. And they should beat UCLA, but I'm not entirely sure they get one of Nebraska or Notre Dame.
They'll get it. They'll be bowl eligible.
They're not tough. No. They don't. My friend at half was like, they have no light in their eyes on the sidelines. Like, we were 7 rows up behind the USC sidelines. They have no fun, like no passion for the game. And I have to agree. Kind of looks like the Memphis Tigers team, honestly. I saw some similarities. I was watching the Tigers game on our drive down there, and we'll get into that in the next segment because, oh boy, I know people feel some kind of way in the chat already this morning. But on the bright side as well, as I was coping with the tragedy of USC losing to Washington in their new conference, nothing changes, everything stays the same. I got to see the Grizzlies beat the Sixers, and I went back and watched the highlights and the recaps from that game and then dove into it a little bit more on Sunday. But the Grizzlies looked really good. Philly looks really bad, 1-4, but if you're the Grizzlies, you've at least taken advantage of 2 flailing Eastern Conference teams that are usually competitive Eastern Conference teams in both the Bucks and the Sixers back to back. And I don't know what to tell you, CJ, except I told you about Jay Huff.
You didn't.
I tried to tell you about Jay Huff.
No, you didn't. You did. And I'm getting messages. We talked some before the show about like the person who hit me up on Twitter, like, hey, yo, who the hell is Jay Huff? This dude is killing Philly right now. He's in Philadelphia. He and I went to undergrad together, and we, maintain a nice sort of friendship, long distance. And he didn't know about Jay Huff, and he's mad at me for not telling him about Jay Huff, and I'm mad at you for not telling me about Jay Huff. 20 points by Huff? 20 points career high? This is a dude who averaged, 1 point per game last year? Come on, man. He's got it. He's doing it all. He's dunking the ball regular. He's dunking the ball in reverse. That dunk he had flying down the lane, and he's just pulling himself up on the rim. Oh, and by the way, he's making threes also. Like, come on, man. This dude is incredible.
He's doing everything. This is the play of the game with John on the ground in transition and the finish to Jay Huff. And obviously, like, Jay Huff was awesome. The career high, 20 points for Jay Huff. And like you said, doing it from 3, 5 of 7 from the 3-point line. He also had 5 rebounds, but Taylor Jenkins was so impressed by that specific play. And all the players, I guess, pointed it out as the one that he will like circle, dot, dot, and go back to as it pertains to turning defense into offense and just the hustle plays. I've been really impressed with Ja's defense this season. It does feel like there is an added level of focus for him in attacking 50-50 balls and not being able to be labeled a traffic cone, which some of the best offensive players in the game certainly can trend into that territory, but it feels like there's absolutely an emphasis from Ja, and I thought that play encapsulated what we've seen early from him. But you put him and Scotty Pippen Jr. together, and that's 2 point guards who, one, are 2 of the best assisters in the game to start this early season, and also take a lot of pride on the defensive end of the ball. Like Scotty Pippen Jr. and John Morant combined for 25 of the Grizzlies' 35 assists last night, or on Saturday night. And that's insane. There are 5 players in the NBA, CJ, who have 50-plus assists this season, and John and Scotty are 2 of them. So the Grizzlies have 2 of the top 5 assisters as it pertains to total assists on the year. It's Trae Young, James Harden, Nikola Jokic, and John and Scotty. And that has been huge for this group. The 35 assists, they didn't get to 35 in their win over the Bucks, but they had 35 plus in the 2 losses before that. This team has been sharing the ball really well and figuring out how to turn it over less, because we certainly saw higher turnover rates to start the season, and that's something they'll continue to figure out. When you're playing that fast, it's easy to turn the ball over a little bit more than if you're slowing it down. But just between the 2 of them, between the fact that 4 different players had double-doubles in one game for the Grizzlies, and they're down so many bodies still. Like, we ultimately got the Grizzlies PR dump injury message at, I was boarding my second flight out of Detroit to get to Seattle on Friday night, and that email finally rolled through, and there was so many words on it. I was like, that's nice. I'm not reading all of that, but I have to because it's my job. And ultimately, the takeaway, TLDR, is that Desmond Bane's week to week, Marcus Smart is week to week. Cam Spencer is going to be reevaluated in 3 weeks, and Vince Williams Jr. is expected to return to play in 2 to 4 weeks. There was nothing on Luke Kennard, who supposedly practiced in full last week, but hasn't been added to the doubtful, questionable language that we're used to seeing on injury reports. But the fact that you have this Grizzlies team with all of that, and you had 4 players with double-doubles in one game in a win over the Sixers, that's what a change a couple days make in terms of the tone of this team, CJ.
4 players in double-double, 4 players with double-doubles, excuse me. Everybody who started was in double figures scoring, I do believe. Plus you had 2 dudes off the bench, double figures scoring, and Huff and Wells, maybe? It's either Wells or Scotty Pippen Jr.
It was Scotty.
It's Scotty.
Wells started.
And Huff and Scotty. Like, man, that was a really thorough beatdown the Grizzlies administered to the Philadelphia 76ers. And I was thinking the same thing, Jessica. What a difference 2 games makes. If I had told you to start the week, hey, the Grizzlies going to go 2-1 this week, you say, oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. I can make that work. That's cool. Right. But that first loss, boy, people were panicking. Ja's into it with fans. Ja's not into it with fans. Media's the problem here. Oh, Taylor Jenkins and the rotations. Everybody was worked up about that damn loss to, who was it? The Nets. Everybody was so worked up about that damn loss to the Nets like it wasn't the 5th game of the season. Like we didn't have a whole nother week's worth of games to get to. And now, look, I think everybody, if we took the pulse right now of Grizz Nation, I think everybody would say, no, yeah, we're in a good spot. Now, if we had done that after the Nets game, sky would have been falling. We would have had to change our coaching staffs and make some trades and get rid of front office personnel. Say all that to say, it's a long season. Be patient. Hang in there. They've got some things to figure out. They'll figure them out and then take it from there. Don't make sweeping generalizations 5 games into the damn season, people. Good grief.
You get another opportunity at that Nets team tonight as well. So an immediate chance at revenge, even though they lost in a game last night. So once again, the Nets on the second night of a back-to-back, which is the situation that you had when they came into your building and won last week. We'll obviously talk about the Nets with Meghan Triplett. I begin a new campaign for a Grizzlies player today, CJ. When we come back after a break, I will tell you, as I have to move off of Desmond Bane for All-Star for the immediate future. We can bring that back. Hopefully Desmond Bane is simply a week-to-week situation and he's back sooner rather than later. But in the meantime, I will be sending my campaign energy to a specific rookie for this Memphis Grizzlies team. We'll get into Jaylen Wells, what we saw from him, along with the crazy situation that popped up with Joel Embiid and a reporter after that Grizzlies-Sixers game as well. Lots of football to still get to. Gary Parrish, too. All still ahead when we come back.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
How much have you added weight since your rookie year?
Bro, I think I was like 20?
Your rookie, you were
40 pounds.
I'm
like 265.
You 265 right now?
In between that and like 273, I'm floating in there.
You have looked at a scale and it said 273.
With shoes on, but still.
Too little.
That's not phone posits either, right?
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The 3 big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
Crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
John Cena was spilling life lessons on this stream, bro. So the best thing I watched all week, John Cena on the Cassinet stream. By the way, he stole your hairdo. You got to make a phone call.
I was about to say, you showed me a little bit of this clip because I saw the messy room, and the only thing I could see is John Cena's hair. I mean, come on, bro.
He stole your bar.
It's
he stole
literally identical.
He stole your flow, bar for bar, word for word.
How is mine more gray than his, though?
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
You know, we got to talk about Scotty Pippen Jr. Scotty has inked that contract. He is now officially off the two-way. He is a member of the regular rotation.
Well-deserved, from my opinion. Like, he straight up earned this one from all the time put in last season with the injuries to Summer League.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges.
I gotta get 'em.
And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there. Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Welcome back. Happy college. Missouri at FedEx Forum tonight. We'll talk to Gary Parrish about that matchup. The Memphis women play at 11 a.m. at El Marone Fieldhouse. They're taking on Mississippi Valley State. So if you want to get out and have a little brunch, a little lunch to start your week with the Memphis women's basketball team, get out there. 11 a.m. What is that, CJ?
That sounds like good stuff right there. That's hooping.
Not on a Monday.
Why not?
Out on like a Saturday.
No.
Some of us have work.
Well, yes, some of us do have work. Take off work. Go see them. Like, I love day basketball. I love day college basketball. More sports should do day games. We get day games in baseball. Why we can't get it in college basketball is beyond me. I'm a firm supporter of Monday 11 a.m. tip-offs for college basketball. I rock with it. Also, it's at El Marone. Got all these college kids walking around. Your classes is probably done by about 11, so just walk your ass over there and go to the game. That's good stuff.
Take a lunch break.
Yeah.
You skip a class, please. You've skipped class for less. I promise.
Way less.
All right. I promised I was coming in here with a new fervor on a Grizzlies-related campaign. It is still campaign season for one more day as we approach election day. Get out and vote tomorrow. CJ is going to be working the poll all day long tomorrow in Memphis. So make sure you go out and exercise your right to vote. But I will exercise my right to scream into anyone who will listen to me in the NBA universe for the foreseeable future, as I normally put all of my energy behind a Desmond Bane for All-Star campaign, which he's out for a minute. We'll get back on board. Don't worry. That train is just temporarily paused at the station. In the meantime, I will turn all of my attention to Jaylen Wells, Rookie of the Year. You heard it here on November 4th. I want it to be put in stone. November 4th, 2024 is when I first flirted with the idea that the Grizzlies' second-round pick, Jaylen Wells, could be in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. And I don't think it's the craziest thing I've ever said on the show.
It's not the craziest thing you've ever said on the show.
Certainly not the craziest.
It's still pretty
Jaylen
crazy.
Wells, so crazy. It just might come true. Listen, he's at least getting the attention of being one of the most consistent rookies here early. He is first in rookie scoring. He's the only rookie this season averaging double figures, averaging 10 points per game. He's the only rookie in double figures, shooting 40% from the field. He's sixth in assists for rookies. He's second in threes made for rookies. And the thing that impressed me the most out of the Grizzlies game against the Sixers is his defense. Like, he had Tyrese Maxey, fast as hell Tyrese Maxey, in a torture chamber for portions of that game. And Jaylen Wells is quickly establishing a very interesting rotation conversation, because by no means was Jaylen Wells supposed to be playing this many minutes early in his NBA career. By no means was he supposed to be starting for this team, but based on necessity, he is getting that chance. And he has really stepped into it and performed at a level that has been very impressive. And even when the Grizzlies are back fully healthy, we'll speak it into existence. Jaylen Wells is playing so well right now that I don't know how you take him out of the rotation. And if he is in there behind, if you're looking at the starting three with Marcus Smart, and then once Vince Williams Jr. and Gigi Jackson get back in the mix, but now you are having legitimate conversations about Jaylen Wells. And that's not even to mention Luke Kennard in that mix too. So I've just been wildly impressed with him. I know some people have pointed out that this rookie start has reminded them of Desmond Bane He went to Washington State, so as long as he's taking those threes in transition with confidence, you're going to see comparisons of him to Klay Thompson. Is this the next great shooter out of Washington State? The returns are really early, but they've been fantastic for Jaylen Wells so far.
Yeah, no, it is. He's having a really good start to the season, and I'm with you. This is a player. If he continues to play like this, you got to find minutes for him, and you can never have too many 3-point shooters. And the Grizzlies need all of the 3-point help they can get. They are near the bottom of the NBA, and three-pointers made, I do believe, and three-pointers attempted. Jaylen Wells gives you somebody who can go out there, take and make threes, and you need that in today's NBA. Oh, and by the way, he's a pretty good defender. He's defending at a high level, way higher than what a rookie should be defending at right now. And you need dudes who can keep guys in front of him. And it's just that simple. I thought defensively, not just Jaylen Wells, but the whole team played much better defensively the past 2 games than they did against the Nets 3 games ago. And some of that may very well be Taylor Jenkins lighting into some dudes and saying, hey, this is not gonna cut it. And Jaylen Wells, to his credit, has risen to the occasion, playing really, really good defense on Tyrese Maxey, who, like you said, one of the quickest, one of the fastest dudes with the ball in his hands in the NBA. And Jaylen Wells stayed in front of him and made him take tough shots. And that's a testament to him and the type of basketball player he is. Now, how many games are we? 6, 7 games into the season? 7 games? You don't have to make such proclamations just yet. But
I do.
If ever you were going to make one, this is, I can rock with this one. I can rock with Jaylen Wells Rookie of the Year hype train. Way more than I can the bars low go Bo. Like I can't no. No. Can't rock with that one.
That's fair. You can take the reckless optimism for Jaylen Wells.
Is Jaylen Wells the biggest surprise through 7 games for you so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I think that benefits him too, right? Because on the other rookie side of the coin is Zach Edey, who has been fundamentally getting better game by game. Like you watch those full Grizzlies games and you can see the small improvements for Zach Edey, and his touch is getting better. He's getting a better feel for the ball. He's getting a better just feel of the game at the NBA level and the speed at which not just the NBA plays at, but this Grizzlies team particularly plays at. And for him to get the double-double in their game against the Sixers, I thought was just another sign of the encouraging growth of Zach Edey. But the thing with Zach Edey is there's such an expectation early on him, right? Like there was never really a question. Zach Edey is your starting center day one. And so many of the Grizzlies' goals this season hinge on Edey not necessarily being a generational, but being functional and being able to serve as a rebounder and as that like bruising, bigger center that allows Jaren Jackson Jr. to be the best version of himself, that just allows the front court to operate at its best level. Whereas for Jaylen Wells, as we just said, like the depth at that position allowed it to be more of a sneak attack. And yes, you ended up having to go to the wells earlier than expected. Oh, look at that. She's halfway across the country, but she's still got puns. Don't worry about it. I think that's where it's been the biggest surprise. But I tried to tell you about Jay Huff, and I tried to tell you about the confidence of Jaylen Wells coming out of Grizzlies open practice, and you didn't want to hear it. You told me, "Are you really saying this about open practice?" And I said, "Yes,
it's open practice."
You want to know what? I was thinking about this.
About open practice?
Yeah, I was thinking back to open practice. And you're right. In its entire form, you do not take anything out of an open practice that is by design there to excite fans and get them ready for a season. But the thing that stood out to me from Jaylen Wells, because I did an interview with him and watched him, obviously perform in the skills competition and the 3-point shooting competition. And so there's that factor. But just in talking to him, like there was just such a comfortability with Jaylen Wells. And I think I was surprised by that because coming out of the draft and early in summer league, he seemed on the shyer side and he seemed a little quiet, but there's nothing quiet about his game and there's really nothing quiet about him. Like he just feels very comfortable as a rookie and it doesn't feel as if he doesn't fit with this group. There's an immediate fit. and chemistry with the teammates as well. And like their love for him and the veterans leadership, trying to get him in the mix early. That's what I saw at open practice that I can now formulate a little bit better here as we've seen it play out in real time. So.
It's when you shoot the way he shoots, you're going to have chemistry with a lot of different dudes, right? Because dudes like to throw it to somebody who's going to knock down threes. And so his game is very complimentary of not just the Grizzlies, right? Where you've got Ja who can get downhill and get to the rim. You've got Scotty Pippen Jr. who's looking to make passes and get assists. You've got players who are looking to be facilitators for others. But I would imagine that skill set would be a skill set that everybody in the NBA wants because, again, you can't have enough dudes who can make threes and defend at a high level.
And with that size.
Yes, with that size.
6'7". He's the perfect size. So we'll see how the Grizzlies respond tonight in Philly. Obviously, the Grizzlies win.
Where?
Respond tonight against the Nets. In Brooklyn.
Where Brooklyn
New York City.
I know where Brooklyn is. You don't know that song? Where Brooklyn at? Okay. All right. What are you chewing on? Get that out of your mouth. Stop fiddling with stuff. You're doing the damn show. Good grief. Just because you're clear across country doesn't mean you get to do random things.
Oh, right, because I don't do random things when
That's
I'm
a good point.
right there.
That's a good point.
It was interesting because the Grizzlies win was not the biggest story out of that game, certainly. Like the rest of the country is not talking about Jaylen Wells for Rookie of the Year, and the rest of the country. I do think the Grizzlies have gotten on the radar of like 2 nice bounce-back wins following what felt like a very, very bad situation coming out of that Nets loss. But one of the best things about being here on this little trip to see my USC Trojans lose to the Washington Huskies.
You didn't even see them. You left.
I saw a half. I saw a half. Okay. And I'm embarrassed by it. I'm embarrassed that I left at halftime, but I'm happy that I guarded and protected my heart. But the whole point is like getting to see friends, getting to see family. And I got to see my favorite group of aunties in my life who are my mom's sorority sisters. And it's like, she has 4 sorority sisters and 3 of them happen to be here for the game too. And so getting to see 3 of them for lunch yesterday, and I like show up at this lunch and one of them comes up to me and she goes, I heard about what happened to your player. And I was like, my player? What are you talking about? And she's like, you haven't heard? And I have PTSD because we've had some bad Grizzlies headlines over the last couple of years. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And she goes, the one, his name is like Embiid. And I was like, oh, Joel Embiid. He's not on my team. Yeah. He's not on the Grizzlies. He's on the team that the Grizzlies were playing. And it was very sweet that she was trying to have the biggest NBA headline to tell me about as we came into lunch. But that was a crazy thing that came out of this game was Joel Embiid shoving a columnist after their game against the Grizzlies. Joel Embiid did not play. The column at hand was from a writer for the Philadelphia Inquirer, Marcus Hayes, who had referenced Joel Embiid's son and his dead brother in a column regarding Joel Embiid's availability for the Sixers this season. The specific paragraph that has really been under scrutiny was Marcus Hayes said, Joel Embiid consistently points to the birth of his son Arthur as the major inflection point in his basketball career. He often says that he wants to be great, to leave a legacy for the boy, named after his little brother who tragically died in an automobile accident when Embiid was in his first year as a 76er. Well, in order to be great at your job, you first have to show up for work. Embiid has been great at just the opposite. Now in his 11th season, he consistently has been in poor condition. This poor conditioning apparently seems to have delayed his debut this season. Embiid won't play in Wednesday's opener or the next 2 games. And so the writer of those words is the writer that Joel Embiid had an altercation with after the game. I have no problem with Joel Embiid sticking up for himself in this situation. And I think that's the majority of the response coming out of this. Like at some point, there have to be consequences for words. Like your words matter and you've got to be accountable for them. And in that case, like why there was the need to put his deceased brother and his son in that context, it feels pretty inappropriate. and unnecessary, at bare minimum, unnecessary. And so we'll see if anything else comes out of that today. But I thought this weekend was a really good lesson for many people in, like, be careful what you say. Like, you can't just be reckless out here all the time. The dude who came up to Jason Kelce on the streets over the weekend and asked him how it felt that his brother is an F word for dating Taylor Swift, and Travis Kelce slammed the dude's phone to the ground and called him the F word back. And in that one rare instance, it's like, okay, Jason Kelce, go off. Because, like, what are you supposed to do? Just take it constantly when people just say absolutely absurd stuff to you over and over again? No. So I think this was a case where both Joel Embiid and Jason Kelce, like, reminded everyone, sometimes you just gotta push back. I never condone, like, hurting somebody. I'm not a condoner. I'm a pacifist.
Okay.
But man, in both of those situations, I would have done the exact same thing. I would hope that I would.
You wouldn't have done the exact same thing.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because I almost got in a fight with the fan who was in the process of making my life and my friends' lives less than fun at the USC UW game. And at one point, my mom started to get into it. And I was like, Mom, you can't get in a fight with these people. And they weren't directing the words at us. They were directing them to the field. But I can close.
Okay. Oh, look at the little fisties. There they go.
I did think to myself, I'm like, what if this dude just turned around and punched me in the face?
You be obliterated. There's nothing you can do.
I know. He's a big guy. All right, we'll talk to Gary about all that. Grizzlies success over the weekend in Philly, plus the Memphis Tigers beginning their season tonight against the Missouri Tigers at FedEx Forum. We'll ask Gary what he hopes to see when we come back.
All laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges, and you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on GrindCityMedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up JustinTimberlake.com.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Somebody else we have not seen in a long time is Morant. Since you've seen him, does he look any different to you, or is this the same superstar Ja that we were used to?
He's always getting better, so you just got to watch out for that. That's.
And it's a revenge tour. It's a revenge tour, like the hey, the world's forgotten about me, And
I don't think they forgot.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
One of the things I really do like about the history of the Memphis Grizzlies is that we have people who have moved here and stayed here. I like how much some of those guys have not only made millions here and won games here, but spent real time here and raised children here.
Yes.
And become a real part of the community.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
John Cena was spilling life lessons on this stream, bro. So the best thing I watched all week, John Cena on the Cassinet stream. By the way, he stole your hairdo. You got to make a phone call.
I was about to say, you showed me a little bit of this clip because I saw the messy room, and the only thing I could see is John Cena's hair. I mean, come on, bro.
He stole your bar.
It's
he stole
literally identical.
He stole your flow, bar for bar, word for word.
How is mine more gray than his, though?
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish is the host of the Gary Parrish Show weekday morning on Grind City Media at 10 a.m. He joins us each and every Monday. GP, how are you?
Wonderful. How are you doing on this Monday morning?
Just a beautiful Monday morning. Although
happy election week to you.
Happy election week to all who celebrate. We are here. I was originally going to extend this trip one day just because it takes so much to fly out here to Seattle. We don't have a nonstop flight from Memphis, so on the way over here, going through Detroit, on the way back, going through Salt Lake. And I told my husband, I floated the idea, like, hey, I might stay one extra day with my mom. And he said, you are not leaving me alone on election day.
I love election day. Like, I love the drama of it. I look forward. Somebody had mentioned to me of playing golf tomorrow afternoon after the show. And I was like, I don't think I want to do that tomorrow. And I that's what I would normally love to do. But I kind of want to get home and turn on the television and just sort of experience it all, for better or worse.
Is Kanaki back? The khaki dude, is he back?
Oh, I'm certain.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm certain he's back. I
man.
tried to flirt with, it's Memphis Downtown Dining Week, and this is my plea. Everybody please go celebrate Memphis restaurants downtown, support downtown restaurants. And I asked Chris, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be back. So do you want to go have a nice dinner, a glass of wine? And he goes, and miss any moment of MSNBC? What are you talking about? It's like, yes, precisely. That's what I would like to do. But I am with you. I'll be locked in all day. And the NBA is off, so we don't have any distractions from NBA games. But we get another Grizzlies game tonight. Just how different, Gary, are you and I sitting here today versus you and I sitting on your show back on Thursday coming off of the loss to the Nets? Is this a good reminder to everybody that early in the season, things can change rather swiftly?
Well, I think late in the season, things can change swiftly. In the playoffs, things can change swiftly. You can be the number 1 seed Toronto Raptors with the coach of the year and then get swept by LeBron and everything changes. They fire you immediately after that. So I don't think one has much to do with the other. When we were sitting here last Thursday, I don't think either of us were going like, and the season's over, or you can't dig out of this hole, or you'll never recover from this. It was just, I mean, at least from my perspective, I'll speak for me, not you. It was simply, hey, I watched a game last night, and your 2 best players, while your 3rd best player was sitting in the locker room, your 2 best players were sitting on the bench in the 4th quarter for 4 or 5 minute stretches while a gettable game became ungettable. Game 5 counts just as much as 82. So when people say things like, it's early in the season, that implies that like what happened in that game doesn't matter as much as it would matter if it happened in March or April. And the truth is it would matter literally exactly the same. I'm ready to be over it. I don't have to, I made my point. I don't have to keep making it. But to your point, obviously, when you follow that up with a fun and convincing victory over Milwaukee and then another victory on the road against Philadelphia, you are sure kind of beating up on teams. They got bigger problems than you right now. But either way, 2-game winning streaks are, they make everything better.
I look forward to the game against the Lakers on Wednesday, even though I think the day after the election should be a national holiday as well for everybody to just, reconvene, figure out things going on. But we will be back in FedEx Forum watching the Grizzlies take on the 4-2 Lakers, which you're right. They have had the opportunity to beat up on some teams that are having sincere struggles to start the year. You get a Nets team again tonight that, yes, beat you in your building, but you should beat the Nets. If you lose 2 to the Nets, that's not great. And we'll be back in here tomorrow wondering what the hell happened, especially because they're on the second night of a back-to-back again. Like you said, season not over. The Memphis Tigers season is technically not over because they still have games on the football field to be played. But man, that loss to UTSA over the weekend, the Alamo Dome remains a terrible, horrible, no good place for Memphis fans forever and always. And it just hit worse because it was on the 5-year anniversary of one of the best days in Memphis football history ever, with College Game Day coming and the win over SMU. But what is your resounding takeaway from Memphis's loss and where they go from here?
This will probably be the last time we talk about them. Perhaps, until they get announced for another bowl game that people won't probably care too much about. I mean, that's the problem with being in a league like this, a league that you're supposed to be the king of. If you don't win it, it feels real bad. I mean, you were picked to win this league, and you were in a position to do it, and now you've lost, 2 games, and you're sitting at 4th in the standings, and I can't imagine what the next, attendance is going to look like, when they reconvene inside Simmons Bank. Tiger basketball, you'll see what that looks like tonight. This thing has really slipped away. The passion for University of Memphis athletics, and it doesn't mean that it can't be recaptured, but the easiest and most obvious way to recapture that, to make people care and be passionate again, is to have success on the field or on the court. And the success on the basketball court didn't happen last season, and the success on the football field is not where it should be. They're in a bad place right now. I mean, Vernon sent a group text. There's a parent, like the University of Memphis, one of the social media accounts sent out some post this morning, and it was like, opening day, it starts tonight, whatever. And it's a picture of a Memphis basketball player. And he was like, name this player. Nobody knew who it was. Like, they would have been better off, I'm not joking, putting a picture of John Grice on the social media post, because everybody been like, hey, that's John Grice, as opposed to who is that? So this is where we're at with that athletic department, and I hope they figure it out.
Yeah, it's tough. At the end of the day, Memphis football hasn't won a conference title since that year that they went to the Cotton Bowl, and hasn't been to the game. And to make matters worse, Navy loses to Rice over the weekend, so you still could have found a way to sneak your way into it, and now all is but lost. As it pertains, who was the player on the Memphis basketball?
Jared Holmes, baby. but everybody was like, I
don't know who this is. They will play Missouri tonight. You do get an SEC opponent in the building night one, a Missouri team that went 0-18 in SEC play last year, but brought in a lot of transfers, is ranked 52nd in Ken Palm. What's the biggest area of intrigue for you tonight as the Memphis Tigers tip off this season and have an opportunity to at least start with a team that's not projected to be the best or one of the best in the SEC, but is still an SEC team nonetheless?
Well, it's a great opportunity for us to put some faces with names and figure out who's who. That's a good place to start.
That's
yeah.
Good. Okay.
No, listen, it's Missouri, and it's an SEC program, and so that sounds good. The truth is, this team went 0-18 in its league last season. On some level, Dennis Gates is lucky that he survived that. I did not think it would be wise for Missouri to make a coaching change. I think he's a good coach, but the last guy that went 0-18 in the SEC or went winless in the SEC, they did him pretty good. That was Bryce Drew at Vanderbilt. Not every coach would have survived that. Missouri will be better, if only because you can be worse, but I don't know how good they are. They're not projected to make the NCAA tournament. How about this? If you are Penny Hardaway and you have the team you think you have, and you're a Memphis fan and you have a team that you think is going to win this league, you should be able to handle Missouri at home in your home opener. If they don't, the season won't be over, but if they don't, the season will be off to the type of start that is not encouraging.
How concerned are you with the shooting of this team?
I mean, very, because it's not like they just shot poorly in the exhibitions. It's that there's nothing in the roster that suggests that was just poor shooting performances in the exhibitions. What the roster shows, all of these guys, they haven't played at Memphis, but they played somewhere. You can just Google their names and their stats pop right up, and you start going, okay, when are you going to have multiple shooters on the floor at the same time? When are you going to have 4. Most college basketball teams in this era would like to have 4 or 5 shooters on the floor at all times. Now, in college basketball, that's harder to do in the NBA because these are amateurs, not professionals. But like the best college basketball teams still have shooters all over the floor. Memphis is not going to have accomplished, proven shooters all over the floor at any time whatsoever. There's a million different ways to win college basketball games. It's not as important at this level as it is in the NBA. Like, if you can't shoot threes in the NBA, you've got a real problem. You can't keep up. You got a math problem. In college basketball, you can win playing a variety of styles, but three-point shooting is important, and there is nothing in the data that suggests this is going to be a good three-point shooting team. If they're going to be good, they'll have to be good in spite of that, probably.
We will see it all begin tonight at FedEx Forum. We get one top 10 game to kick off the season, Gary, with the Baylor-Gonzaga game, 2 top 10 teams facing off in Spokane tonight. How do we get more of these in the future? Because, frankly, the beginning of the college basketball season always seems to come with a whimper.
I don't think it's a coincidence that it's Gonzaga and Baylor that have agreed to play each other on opening night. And what I mean by that is coaches, this is going to sound like oversimplified, stupid, but you'll get the point. Coaches hate to lose. Particularly in pressure-packed jobs when you're making millions of dollars and there's message boards and social media. And so they shy away from these types of things, particularly power conference coaches, because they know once they get into their league, they're just trying to have a Wikipedia page that looks okay with 21 wins or 24 wins. Mm-hmm. Circling back to Gonzaga, Baylor, why are these schools happy to do this type of thing? I don't know that any two coaches in the country, outside of maybe a Tom Izzo, a Bill Self, a Dan Hurley, who has more job security than Mark Few at Gonzaga and Scott Drew at Baylor. Scott has won a national championship. His name will be on that court someday. He just turned down, you ready? Both the Kentucky and the Louisville job this offseason. He's under no pressure whatsoever. They'll build a statue of him one day, hopefully one that doesn't look like the Dwayne Wade statue. Meantime, Mark Few has, been to 25 straight NCAA tournaments. He's been in multiple national championship games. He will retire at Gonzaga whenever he wants, not a day earlier. No pressure whatsoever. So they are, and Tom does this as well at Michigan State. I actually have had this conversation with Tom Izzo before because he would, funny for years, Tom would schedule aggressively, like they'd open with North Carolina on an aircraft carrier or something like that. And you would talk to him 2 weeks into the season. He'd go, I can't believe I did this shit. I don't know why I did. And then he would do it again. And the reason I asked him one time, I said, why will you do this? Because you're right. We need more of this in college basketball. There's only 2 notable games all day today. The one you mentioned in Texas, Ohio State. And I asked him, I said, why can't more people do this? He said, the reason I can do this is because if I get blown out by a good team in my season opener, my fans are not asking for me to get fired. I'm paraphrasing here, but he more or less said, I'm Tom Izzo. If I lose, nobody thinks it's because I'm stupid. Nobody thinks it's because I can't coach. It's just because, sometimes you lose basketball games. But they're not going to pin it on me. But there are other coaches when they lose season openers or lose lopsided, games to inferior opponents or quality opponents, their fans immediately point at them. And I don't have to worry about that, so I'm a little freed up to go do things like this. I wish more coaches took this approach. They don't, and you're, again, right. It's a real problem with college basketball. We stumble into this as opposed to, when the NFL season gets started, it's Thursday night football. Here's the Super Bowl champs against a rival. Let's go. And we don't have that kind of blast off with college basketball, unfortunately.
How many of those blast off games would you like to see the opening week of the season?
First off, I would never start on Monday. Like, I would never start on Monday night football. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I would always start on Tuesday because you're far enough from the football weekend in both directions to where people can focus on you. Now, you wouldn't start on this Tuesday because it's an election year. You wouldn't want to do that. Right. But I would start in this year, I would start on Wednesday. So I think the first problem, don't do it on Monday. You just get overshadowed. On days like today, we're talking about Jason Kelsey, throwing a phone, Joel Embiid shoving a reporter, everything that happened in football over the weekend. Nobody's focused on college basketball today. So I wouldn't do it on Monday. And then I would stagger the games starting you don't need a lot of them, to your point, but I think you do need maybe 2 in that first primetime window, maybe 2 more in that late window, and and no football to compete with. It's my same issue with the WNBA. Their playoffs interact with football too much. You cannot have a historically great season all summer and then culminate it with people trying to watch football. You got to get away from football. That's a lesson for every sport in America. Get away from football, and college basketball doesn't do that too well.
It's hard because football doesn't want you to get away from it. Like the NFL is doing things intentionally to try and get on more days.
Well, that's why they took Christmas from the NBA. Like the NBA was like, Christmas was a big deal, and the NFL just said, we'll take that. But you're right. You can't run from them forever, but you can run from them for now. And so I would just say, right, on Tuesday nights, we don't have football. That's when we're launching college basketball season, other than in election years. And in election years, we'll do it on Wednesday.
What happened to the 24-hour tip-off?
I don't know the actual answer for like why doesn't that exist anymore, but I do know that it was a sort of a sticking point for some university presidents and chancellors. Like, why are we asking students and student athletes to be in a basketball arena at 2 a.m.? This is the institution of higher learning. Like, how can you say we're putting student athletes and students first when we're saying, hey, come to the basketball game at 2 a.m.? It just was a bad look, I think. You know that nobody in a basketball arena at 2 a.m. is going to be in class at 9 a.m. What sort of message are you sending?
Turn that a good one, one where part of your college experience is doing things like a 24-hour.
I actually agree with that. I think there is some, like sitting in a classroom that you do. Actually, you know what you find out when you go to college campuses and like spend time there now? They actually don't spend that much time in a classroom the way we did. Mm-hmm. Like I went to Ole Miss basketball practice on last Wednesday maybe, and I was texting with the staff and I was like, all right, so what time is practice? They were like 9:30. I was like, 9:30 a.m. on a Wednesday. That's your practice time. It's like, yeah, we don't have class. I think it was something like, yeah, we don't have classes on Mondays and Wednesdays. It was something weird. Like people don't go to school anymore the way we went to school. So I agree with you. That experience might be more beneficial than like just listening to another lecture. But I know that it was a issue that was discussed at the highest levels. What is this proper optics for what college is supposed to be?
Well, that's too long of a conversation, and we have to get to Meghan Triplett because I would love to talk about what college is supposed to be. But Gary, we will let you go today. I will see you back in Memphis tomorrow.
All right.
For the election. I'll see you there.
Happy election week.
We'll see you on your show in just a few.
I'll be there. Here. Yeah, thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. All right, we got to take a quick break because the one and only Meghan Triplett is joining us after the break. She is now, of course, with the Brooklyn Nets. The Grizzlies in Brooklyn to play the Nets tonight. We'll catch up with Meghan when we come back.
What have you added weight since you were here?
Bro, I think I was like 20?
Rookie, you were
40 pounds.
You
I'm
were
like 265.
You're 265 right now?
In between that and like 273, I'm floating in there.
You have looked at a scale and it said 273.
With shoes on, but still.
I'm too little.
That's not phone posits either, right?
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
One of the things I really do like about the history of the Memphis Grizzlies is that we have people who have moved here and stayed here. I like how much some of those guys have not only made millions here and won games here, but spent real time here and raised children here.
Yes.
And become a real part of the community.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The three big beats this week. One was root for points in honor of John Roser. How about that Miami-Louisville game?
Good
crushed
grief.
the over, which was 60. Finished with 97 total points, 52-45. Meanwhile, the Academy's covering again, both Army and Navy, getting the job done.
This.
Army, best start since 96.
America.
Navy crushed Charlotte. They're ranked 23rd and 24th in the country.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Justin Timberlake. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Yellow laces, really bright yellow primary color. You got black on the trim and on the edges. And you got some red there as well. Look at that right there, Mike. Look at that right there.
Man, look at that G. Look at that G, boy. That G is moving strong right there, too, man.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back on this Monday on a Memphis Grizzlies game day as the Grizzlies take on the Nets tonight in Brooklyn. We were not able to have Meghan Triplett come in studio when she was in Memphis with the Nets last week, but she's joining us this morning from Brooklyn. Meghan, how's it going? How was your weekend?
Good morning. It was good. I heard you added the weekend. You had the amazing weekend. What did I do?
Was it amazing?
Did USC lose? I don't even know. I just thought you were at the game. I don't know the results of the game.
Yes, USC lost and it rained very hard. This is your life now. You don't have to keep up with random college football games. How happy are you?
I do not anymore. I still follow. Wait, am I framed right? I can never tell on my iPad. So the iPad is always hard to look at. Am I off?
You're a little shifted. Other way. There you go.
I need to go this way. Okay. Wait, this way. There we go.
Now you're very central now. There you go.
Okay, here we go. That's better. Give me a second. Hold on.
We got it figured out. It's okay. You had a game last night, so
you're fine, Meghan. Stop touching the camera. You're good. Y'all talk. Good grief.
I know, but if it's off, bother me. If it's gonna be off center, I won't be able to focus on that. Okay, here we go. Okay. But yeah, we had a game yesterday, so. Because of daylight savings time and also it was an afternoon game, I was still able to wake up. We don't have shoot around this morning, so I was I can wake up and join Rise and Grind. Does CJ have on a blue wig?
He's very excited for the Memphis Tigers game.
Men's college basketball starts. It tips off today, Meghan. Tigers versus Missouri. Let's go.
Oh, and they're selling those wigs.
No, they gave them to the wife. The wife graduated from Memphis. She's an alum. She got an alum care package, and they gave her this. And I was like, oh, I'm taking that. That's for me. And so now I just wear them for big Memphis games.
Okay, I didn't know if it was Memphis or if it almost kind of looks like Sonic too. So I was kind of confused.
Oh, the hedgehog. Yes, I see you. You see what's going on with the hoodie. Yeah.
I either you were having a blue wig on or you're dressed as Sonic. And I'm like, Halloween. It's November now. I know I missed Halloween last week, so. Confused. Okay, sorry. Back on topic.
And Memphis, but Memphis is playing Missouri, which is our old friend of the show, Dennis Gates.
That's right, Coach Gates. Coach Gates he's there at Missouri, and that's right because he was at Cleveland State, went to Missouri. Mm-hmm. So if you guys see them, make sure you guys say hello. Don't forget we are great friends with them. So I know you're cheering for Memphis, but don't forget he was always super kind to us. Yeah,
he was Cleveland State forever. My random Cleveland State shirt lives in my drawer, and it only comes out for the most special of occasions. But for the Grizzlies and the Nets, obviously last week you got to experience a win for the team that you work for, the Nets, that sent Grizzlies fans into an absolute tizzy. But what was it like being back and having that experience and having to support the Nets, even though we know your heart is always here in Memphis?
My heart's always there. That's I live 6 months of the year in Memphis, 6 months in New York. So it was great to be back. I've gotten the chance to do that. The only thing about this time coming back was that it's early in the season, which I really do not like. I think that my first year is the same way. I prefer the trip to be in Memphis later in the season. So when I need my my home and when I need my family to see some friends, I like it to be kind of later in the season. But hey, we got it out of the way. It was great to be back. I hate that it was a back-to-back for us, so it was a quick trip. Had to do a lot. I stayed an extra day so that I could go vote. Super important. So I went to go vote, but I still had time to see my grandmother. Still saw Mama Triplett. Saw all the kids. There's now 5 nieces and nephews, so we keep multiplying. So still having to go see them, but it was really great to be back in the arena, seeing a lot of familiar faces, seeing a lot of friends, even family friends, church members. It's always great to be back there. And then I was really happy for Zaire. At the end of the day, you guys know, I work for the Nets, cheer for the Nets, Grizzlies. I was a fan for all my life for them, still be a fan. However, for Zaire, he was so excited to be back, and he really wanted that win. And he talked about it leading up to the game. He told the guys I talked to Ja, I talked to Jared, talked to Desmond. He was and he had the game of the game of the year for him. And you could tell he was happy, super excited. And so he's kind of found a home here. We talk about Memphis stories all the time. He's always it's crazy that you're from there. You came, and he calls Memphis still home too. He got a chance to grow up there, and so now he's here as well. So it was really great. The guys were good. Jaren, Ja, Desmond, John Contra, they all came over, made me feel really, really loved. So it was great to be there.
I love that. And from Zaire's standpoint, Bennett Doyle and I were sitting up on Radio Row, and we were like, oh, Zaire's going to cook tonight, isn't he? And that game just starts, and he's on a different level. And it felt like the Nets were playing for him. Obviously the team wants to win, but it felt like there was an energy level. Let's go get this for Z as he's back in Memphis. And having seen him interact with Des before the game, with Ja before the game, Ja still calls him his little brother. There's friendship and bonds there that last far outside of the business side of what happens in the NBA. But have you experienced?
They had Sheen's hot wings in the locker room too afterwards. Yeah, so it felt like a whole big reunion. No one saved me French fries, which I was kind of sad about. By the time I got in there, all the fries were gone. But it's okay. I forgive them. It's okay.
You being there last week was the first time it really clicked for me that you get to work with Vince Carter now. What's that like?
It's great. Vince has only a few games for us for Yes Network, and this is his year because he's getting he's in the Hall of Fame. His jersey got retired in Toronto the other day, and then we're retiring his jersey for the Nets in January. But when you go to dinner with Vince has some amazing stories, and every time we talk, we reflect on Memphis a lot. He was in Memphis for 3 years, and so we have so many just stories that we talk about the city and growing up, and he loves going to Memphis. Him and Brevin Knight are besties. They went golfing. I was the fact that it's a back-to-back and we're trying to find time. They had time to go golfing twice, and I felt some way that I wasn't invited, but it's fine. And so it's really, really great to kind of hear. Oh no, I started doing Top Golf. I'm decent at it. And I took golf lessons once, and I feel like it's still there. I feel like it's really, really still there. And so I think I'm really good. And I also have really good outfits for golf. So in case you want to come invite me, I think I look really cute, the outfit wise. And I can
Megan, wait. You gonna be on the golf course walking around sweating your hair out?
Well, the fall weather's a good time.
Okay.
Here all the way. And just to kind of have the shoes and stuff. I look really good. Top Golf and I are becoming okay, I could get into this. I could get down with this. I went to Top Golf this summer a few times in Memphis. So I was I can get down with this. If you go on certain days, it's half off. Tuesdays in the morning, that's when I would go. Because I'm not paying the whole price. But yeah, it was fine. But anyway, they had time to go golfing. Vince is great. To hear his stories it's absolutely amazing. And he's still really young at heart too. And we had him dunk last year on the court. And it's Vince, you could still be out here. You could still be doing this. And, basketball means so much to him. And you kind of see it in all of the in all of the emotions that he's had for the Hall of Fame and also the other night in Toronto. And so I'm really happy. I love working with him. We have we go back and forth. We make fun of each other. So it's great. I think I have a game with him in November coming up. But I know he loved being back in Memphis to have his first game here.
That's very, very cool. You're playing Top Golf. Will we ever see you run the New York Marathon? Because I saw all the people running the marathon yesterday, and I feel if I lived there, I would get inspired to do something dumb and try it.
That's a you thing. Like that's like a very you. You'd be like, I'm gonna run it. Like I got this. Like
And then I would die.
That's not me. I feel very inspired by the people who are doing it. I will say this: like the New York City Marathon has been on game days, and it's the fact that the game was at 3:30 yesterday and the marathon was going on. Luckily, as you guys know, I live very close to the arena, so I didn't have to deal with any type of traffic or getting around. The Pistons had to take the subway. I mean, a lot of Sarah Kustok had to take the subway. We had a lot of guys because to get to Atlantic, you can't get the cars can't get to the arena because the marathon goes across the street and everything's shut down. And so I felt so bad for people who had a hard time getting into the arena. You have to like park 4 or 5 blocks away and then like walk through it. And you don't want to cut through the race, but some people were cutting through the race, or you have to go underground to cut through the subway. I had no issue with that. I would love for it to not be on a game day, so I could actually wake up and go support and like to actually like be out there to see it and cheer it on. But I will say the way that this city comes together and like rallies together, and like the people that have all the signs, I want to be a person to have like a clever sign. I'm not quite sure what mine would say, but I think I saw my favorite one that I saw yesterday was that like someone had like, if you think this is tough, like try dating in New York City. And I was like, I'm like that's a pretty good sign. I should be carrying that one. But you know, I don't know if I'll ever run it, but I actually want to support and like hand out water, like just like hand out water and say, you got this. But you know, running it's not for me. I know my capabilities of life. Like you, 3-on-3 basketball. I think you learned that. Like I learned that's not me. That's not the journey for me.
Yeah, no longer my journey either. But I do think people just don't understand how the city shuts down. Like I was in a wedding in New York this weekend last year, and our flight was going out on Marathon Sunday, and everyone was like, how are you going to get from the Upper West Side to, I think we were flying out of LaGuardia. And we were like, honestly, we don't know. Like we were trying to figure out all these things, and we ended up, like a cab driver came up to us on a side street and just was like, are you trying to get to the airport? Because he saw our luggage. And we're like, yeah, we are. He goes, get in the car, I'll get you there. And we're like, and he goes, I promise you, if you don't get in this cab right now, like you're not going to get to the airport. And we were like, do we trust this random New York City cabbie who says if we give him, and he goes like, pay me $75 and I'll get you there. And so we did it. And the whole time we were just texting each other, Chris and I in the back seat, like, if this is how we go, it's been a wonderful life. If we're going to get thrown into the Hudson River. And he got us to the airport. So they know, the real ones know how to get around, but it's nearly impossible. That's why the Pistons had to take the subway.
That's some serious trust right there. I don't know if I would trust it, but you know, those are the moments, you know, like how desperate you are. You're like, like here it is, like, you know, last choice, last option. I'm happy you made it out okay. Like
I'm here today, yes. Yeah.
But anyone else that's listening, it's not great to like, you know, have someone just randomly walk up to you and say.
Right. I wouldn't encourage it unless you're there on Marathon Sunday.
Yeah.
I saw one of the stories that came out of last night's game for you all. Ben Simmons, who is continuously one of the more intriguing characters in the NBA. He took 4 shots in 25 minutes last night. And I noticed when they were in Memphis, just the hesitancy that is still there at times for Ben Simmons. And I'm curious what it has been like for you covering him from the team perspective and what you've seen and kind of what the hope is for him as the season continues.
You know, I think they're still trying to figure it out. Rudy Fernandez is very vocal and like he's very open about what he wants from Ben Simmons, and he wants Ben Simmons to play aggressive. He wants Ben Simmons to, you know, take it to the rim and not just pass it. You know, he had a really, really good game. So that was Sunday. He had a really good game on Friday against Chicago Bulls. And I think what you've seen from Ben is like when Ben is out there and he's actually playing the aggressive style of basketball, like he's needed and not in foul trouble either. That was the thing in Memphis last week, is not getting in foul trouble. And when you're playing like very free, this team looks very different. But I said like you've seen a lot of glimpses of what Ben Simmons can do, and he's like right there at that level. It'll be interesting because I hate to say this because you won't see Ben Simmons tonight against the Grizzlies because it's a back-to-back. So part of his like recovery playing and him just getting back to like those normal minutes is that he only plays one of the 2 in back-to-back. So he played yesterday, so he won't play tonight. So you won't see Ben Simmons tonight for the Brooklyn Nets. But I will say that you've seen a lot of great signs of what Ben Simmons can do, and the team like really backs him and believes in him. I think it's just taking time for him to get to his normal playing minutes, and also we haven't had consistency of like the type of rotations that we know that this team will be in, because you have Nick Claxton, who's still not starting, coming off the bench. And I know that they still want to see what that will look like. That lineup will look like in a starting group. And then you also have like Dennis Schroeder playing the point guard sometimes. You have Ben Simmons playing the 5 when Nick is on the bench. You have Ben Simmons playing the point guard. I think there's just like a level of it's going to take some time. And so, you've seen it in spurts. I think we're just like slowly getting there. It's a step process, I'll say.
A team that's a work in progress, if you will. What stood out to you? Obviously, it was one of the less successful games for the Grizzlies this season. But what surprised you maybe from the team? And obviously, they've had 2 big bounce back wins following against both the Bucks and the Sixers, who are in a mess of their own. But it's been nice to see from the Grizzlies. What has stood out from you the most?
It's always great to see Ja because, I haven't gotten a chance to see Ja play in 2 years. So it's always great to see Ja and him slowly finding that groove again and what he has. I know it wasn't the best game that he had against us, but he had spurts, especially after the third, fourth quarter where he kind of put the team on his back. And then I watched the game. I actually did watch the games. My parents went to the game, the Grizzlies Bucks game, and I watched that game, and I was like, oh my god, the highlights from him coming out were absolutely amazing. I have become a big J Huff fan. I think that his name is really amazing. The name is great.
Jessica didn't tell me about J Huff. We did all this off-season talk, and not once did she mention J Huff.
Really? Maybe she wanted you to be surprised. She wanted you to see the talent and be like, "Oh my gosh, look at here! Look at what a big we might have coming up." You got obviously a lot of conversations been around Zach Edey, but then you're like, "Oh wait, who is this guy?" And I love them. I love players like that where it's like, "Huh? Where did he come from? Two-way? Okay," because you don't get them that often. So when they do have those, oh, this could be something. Especially when you find, I think Memphis has been able to do this a lot of times. They keep finding these guys that kind of fit in the culture of what they're trying to build and the identity. And it's guys you're kind of oh, I wouldn't see that. Santi Aldama, you probably been okay, what could how when he first came, let's see how this kind of fits with the puzzle. And it's a great fit. And then the Jaylen Wells guy, I think he's so young, and so the fact that he's kind of starting sometimes, you're what? How this is it's a great combination that I'm seeing of them trying to figure things out, especially with the injuries. I hate the injuries that the Grizzlies are going through, and I hated that it was our game, right? I feel that's, I was when I was working the game and having to say, oh, Marcus Smart is out. Oh, Desmond Bane's out. I was like, what is happening? What is going on? And I hate that for any team, but I hate it for you guys.
Hey, real quick, Megan. Why do the Titans suck so much?
A lot of people ask me about this here, and I watched the first game was what was our first game? Was it
Chicago?
Titans in Chicago with all the the issues. They were up by 17-0, and Chicago came back and outscored them, whatever it was. And at that moment, that was the moment, CJ, I said, it's not my season. Once again, I'm off of this. I am so off of the Titans right now that I don't. They won yesterday, but it was the Patriots. Okay, whoop-de-whoop. It took to overtime. Okay,
whoop-de-whoop is right.
Yeah, I don't understand it, and it's also really, really hard because I'm happy for Derrick Henry. I think it was time for him to move on. I want him to be happy, but then when you see when you see people be happy, you're like really though? Really? I
not
want
that
you to be
happy.
But not that happy. I really thought that this was going to be a different story for us. So I'm kind of off the Titans right now. This is not our year. It hasn't been our year for a long time, CJ. I just watch football games just to watch football games now. But when Titans come on, I change my ESPN alerts for Titans. I only get now end of every quarter. I used to get every scoring thing. I just get end of every quarter and the final. I don't want any more. I don't want the touchdown highlights. Don't send me the video. I don't need my phone going off because it's actually depressing. The first 2 weeks I was like, oh, okay, whoop-de-doo. I'm good with this. I'm so good on the Titans right now.
The first 2 weeks, one of those notifications was Will Levis throws most insane interception you've ever seen. And you're like, I'm out at this moment.
I'm done. I'm so done. I actually started cheering for the Kansas City, which is oddly very weird for me. I know, oddly.
Why?
I keep up with them. I don't know. I've started to keep up with them.
Is it because of Taylor?
It's exactly because of Taylor.
My mom roots for the Chiefs now because of Taylor. I'm like, who have you become?
Here's the thing. I've always loved Travis Kelce. I've always loved Patrick Mahomes, but the Taylor thing just happened at the same time and being okay, this is really good team to watch. They're like a fun team to watch sometimes. And I was never a Swiftie. I think I texted you, Jessica, that I was never a Swiftie. Like, never a Swiftie. Respect to her talent and, like, her entertainment skills until she came out and, like, supported Kamala. And that was it. That was, like, I don't know what it was about it and how she did it, how she dropped it. I was like, okay, Taylor, we might be able to be friends. Like, I could see us, like, bonding over something. Like, I'm not a big glitter fan, but she's been killing it on the boots. The knee-high boot game that she has, we could probably bond over. We could probably share shoes.
Yeah.
She's a first game. I love her bags. Like, so I'm like, I feel like we could like bond over shopping maybe. Not the glitter part, but everything else. I think we could be friends.
It was the last night of the Eras Tour in the U.S. last night, and I have to admit, I kind of wanted to be there. I too, not a Swiftie, but I have been intrigued with Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, respect. She's a billionaire with a capital B. She knows what she's doing, and she's doing it well. But yeah, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Before we let you go, I have to get your best pop culture story that's currently ongoing, because you used to keep us in the know with everything. Without you, we are often lost. But what is your favorite story in the pop culture world?
I'm trying to think of like a really good one right now, because it's been a lot of drama, and the election has like kept my mind off of like that right now. It's kind of like who's supporting who. Maybe Beyonce, Kelly Rowland coming out for the Kamala Harris rally in Houston. That was a moment. The speech, everything about that like just was such a very beautiful thing. We're talking about like couples. It was something for you that I know you'll like. What's her name? Sutton
Foster and Hugh Jackman.
Sutton. I love her. I love her from like any show that she's been on. And the fact that they are potentially, I don't want to say that, like, I guess reportedly together, and each are together, I kind of like that as a couple. I hate it for like families, and well, maybe they were already like, separated, and her husband, but the divorce did just come out, so it's kind of like but I do like that. I love her. I love her acting. So try to find something you relate with. Kendall Jenner's back with Devin Booker allegedly, and you're like, huh?
When did they break up?
Yeah, I didn't know they had an off period.
Well, Bad Bunny was in between. They went back and forth.
Oh, yes.
Bad Bunny was in it, then Devin Booker again, and now her and Bad Bunny broke up. And now, reportedly, she's back with Devin Booker again. So it's like, look, I have spent the block too several times, so I get it. Sometimes you just can't leave someone. I understand it, but it's kind of like, oh, okay, and she's got it tight. It's kind of like, Will this work out? Will this work out again? I'm not quite sure. I will tell you this for the game wise, before I let you guys go, something to look out for is if Nick Claxton plays tonight. That's like the biggest thing that I would say to be on the like lookout for. Nick has not played in back-to-backs yet. He hasn't even started yet. However, they wouldn't rule him out yet. And I do think that I know Nick wants to play. I talked to him yesterday. But if you also add the extra loaded piece of him and Ja are friends, and he did not play in Memphis. He even traveled to Memphis last week. You have an opportunity to hopefully he's like, fully there, especially when it comes to the recovery process. Will he play today? I love added like juicy stories. Like you got Zaire wanting to get revenge back. You got Nick wants to play against his friend. The Grizzlies are mad that they lost last week. The Nets are mad they lost to the Detroit Pistons last night and had like one of their worst second half offensive performances that we've seen. And so you add all the stuff in it. I love a spicy game. It's an 8:00 game. People are mad here in New York that it's late Eastern time, 7 y'all's time. We're like, it's 8. There's so many NBA games on tonight. There's no games tomorrow due to the election. So add a little like spice to it all. The Jets did win last week, so they're happy about that. Like New York sports, y'all. New York sports. It is like, the Liberty won, amazing. I was there for that game, super happy. Yankees, I feel so bad. These Yankees fans, they take this so seriously. Which I support the Yankees because yes, Network has the Yankees. I like to go to the games. They feel like their like hearts were just taken out, stomped on. The Jets are making them so mad. The Giants are making them so mad. Like, all you really have is the Liberty and the Knicks. I hate to say that like that because I'm a Nets girl, but it's like where do you hold on to? You got the Liberty that won. They finally got you guys a championship. Finally got you guys a ring, and now you're holding on to the Knicks because the Yankees really just. I feel so bad for them.
Yankee sad, Giant sad, Jets sad. But we're happy to see you this morning, Meghan. So thanks for joining us. And we'll get you on again sometime, even though you don't come back to Memphis. We'll catch up sometime in the middle of the season.
Well, I'll be there at some point. At the end of the day, you'll see me. Someone will see me at a Costco in Memphis soon. Don't you worry.
It's true. All right. We'll see you later. Bye. That was Meghan Triplett. We are so grateful for her joining the show. I have bad news for our beautiful fans who love our 2-hour shows on Mondays. But if I go 2 hours today, CJ, I'm not making my flight back. So I am beginning a quick race to the airport to try to start getting back to Memphis, be back in the studio tomorrow morning. We will catch up on all things football related that we haven't got to. CJ, you're out tomorrow. Tell the people where you'll be.
I'll be working the poll, baby. Do we get an appearance by Sharon?
No, she's in the car waiting for me outside so we can put the foot on the gas. I'm really cutting this close. I'm cutting it tight. So we will see everybody tomorrow. John, or is it Bennett tomorrow, CJ?
Yeah, it's Bennett tomorrow.
Bennett Doyle will be in studio with me tomorrow morning. We'll talk about the Grizzlies Nets game. It'll be election day. We'll have all sorts of fun. I will see you then, everyone. Bye.
Be safe, Jessica.